Welcome to the Welsh Yogi Podcast. Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Name.
Okay, welcome to another episode of the Welsh Yogi Podcast.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
We are in Manchester. We're in the Manchester Temple. Got Peter, Bhakta-rupa, Gopala.
How'd it go?
I'm sure soon we'll have the ladies back by popular demand. But
Did you listen to the ladies' podcast?
I listened. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I need to listen to it.
yeah. It was,
Yeah, you do.
yeah, you do.
Hey, what do you mean I do?
This is
Maybe I
your
don't.
show.
This is your show, like.
This is
Not
your
my
show.
show. It's
This is
Gopala's
man.
show. Gopala's show. Like. To be honest, though, Tarknath is the original Welsh yogi. I was thinking about this when we first started the podcast. We were planning on. I loosely remember. I was thinking about it recently. Like, it was something like we were going to do like a kind of Facebook, YouTube type page about Tarknath and call it the Welsh Yogi.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided to do the Welsh Yogi podcast. And I remember when Tarknath first came on, he was like, you said, "Oh, Tarknath's our guest." And he said, "What do you mean guest? I am the Welsh Yogi."
Wow.
But so Tarknath's the real. It's Tarknath's show, isn't it? So
Yeah,
And we'll get him on it soon, hopefully.
we got him on soon.
there's a monsoon. Krishna is
We-
a monsoon cloud.
We will get him on the show soon, maybe.
Uh-huh.
That's fabulous.
Hopefully.
Gopa,
Fingers
how are you
crossed.
enjoying Manchester?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we're here to basically build relationships, isn't it, amongst different temples around the country.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Tomorrow we've got a program. I'll give a talk about the glories of book distribution and try and inspire some people.
Mm.
And then just like that. But it's refreshing just to go out, and I only did a bit the other day, just go back out and giving out books and stuff. It's nice.
It's a cool experience, isn't it?
Mm.
Like giving out a couple of books. It's like seems to like invite miracles to happen in a certain way.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
as in even just going out and trying.
Yeah.
You know, that makes things happen.
Mm.
Have you been finding in Newcastle? You've been working in Newcastle last
Yeah, I've been
2
working
weeks?
probably 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4, so 3.
I can't exactly remember, but I've been working up there doing a refurb on a property
Uh-huh.
under the guidance of. Actually, he's got a new name now.
Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
We went up to Scotland Temple, and Prabhupada Prana Prabhu, who's the temple president, he said, "Hello, Bhakta Paul."
Yeah.
And Paul was like,
That's a good Scottish accent.
"I'm a Bhakta. I'm Bhakta Paul." He's like, he took that as he's been given a name, Bhakta Paul.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good, isn't it? When you first get called back to something. Like, you can no one, not just anyone gets called back to. It's like
That's what I mean.
practically being a
It's Bhakta
devotee.
Paul.
Yeah.
Bhakta Paul, how are you? Welcome to the temple. You ready for the mantra meditation? No, he's a cool. Prabhupada Prana is cool, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been working with Paul doing the labouring. Like we're basically refurbing a property, and it's just such a amazing experience to work. Like, just a physical labour job, but with the Krishna consciousness,
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita
philosophy.
philosophy. Like so much of Bhagavad Gita is about do your duty, work hard, don't be attached to the results, and like all of these principles, seeing them in action and getting up early before you go to work and chanting your rounds and really trying to focus on, like that meditative, okay, help me to learn some lesson today, help me not to get, because you do some physical labor, it can be, the mind will kick off sometimes, like especially if it's like dusty and heavy and lifting bags of cement and whatever it is, But with the good japa in the morning, it's like, no, this is a way that I'm training my mind to do something that I don't want to do. It's like a type of austerity. And like you do enough austerity, you can use the same thing in your japa then. It's like in your chanting Hare Krishna mantra, like sometimes the mind doesn't want to chant. But you're just like, oh, well, we're trained now.
That's what I do.
We don't always do what our mind wants. We do our duty regardless. So it's really nice seeing the principles spring into life in a practical setting.
Are you passing that Bhagavad Gita up here?
Yep.
Let me think of something. Yeah, I remember when we went to India, I remember going to Varshana, and it was like I still remember it to this day. These Indian men just carrying bricks and heavy bricks on their head, and the boiling, it was absolutely like scorching heat. And one of the natives was telling me that they got paid something like ridiculous, some like just a few rupees a day or something, you know.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I was watching on this job. They have some plumbers, and the building is like on a raft. Means that like it's kind of like a bungalow, but it's floating above on a frame, so you can go under the house, under the floorboards. Okay, so cool. These plumbers are like going in through the floorboards, crawling underneath this like 2 foot tall space to like install pipes. And I was like, how does he do that? Like my mind would kick off having to like squeeze into that little space. You know, like he's really having to contort his body in there to get in there. And it's like, he must be doing something. There must be some reason why he's doing that in his mind, that he's justifying that type of austerity. You know, like, oh, this is my job. This is just what I do. You know, like, it's just really interesting. I was pretty impressed. Just like, wow, this guy's he's working. You know, like he's earning his money. It's not like trading Bitcoin or doing something like that's not substantial. Like, but it's interesting, just like seeing them, and me and Paul have the kirtans going on the site and seeing the way that they react to the kirtan, and it's just. Yeah.
Is he thinking? Do you think he's thinking? Okay, this is an austere thing to do, but it's going to give me this amount of money, which I'm going, and I've got my goal in mind for what I'm going to spend that money on. So that kind of pushes him through the austerity. Or?
Yeah, potentially. And some people are just dutiful, aren't they? They just okay, this is my job. This is part of the job that I signed up for, and we've got to install these pipes to get paid. So, because he's like kind of the apprentice,
right?
So so one day I won't be doing this. My boss, I'll be the boss, and I'll get someone else to crawl in the pipes. You know, like it's like this is just a sacrifice to get me to where I want to be, potentially.
But I think that's what like it's been like so one person. It's like the thing is being you're attached to some result, isn't it? Like I just said in the Bhagavad Gita, as the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path. So you could just, it's interesting because externally, you know, you're working on a building site and someone else is working on a building site, but they might externally might look the same, but internally, in that there's a whole. It's night and day difference. Because
it forces you, especially if you're trying to practice Krishna consciousness, if you're in a horrible situation or something bad happens, like you have to go take shelter of Krishna, like that can be your happy place. You know what I mean? Like it's, like a couple of times I've been like, there's dust in my face, I'm breathing, I'm thinking like, you know what, one day I'll be in the spiritual world with Krishna, like dancing and singing. And
I was like that in the Cheesecake Factory when we used to have it. We used to have the devotee-owned Cheesecake Factory, and that was like...
Yeah.
As Prabhupada said, factories are hell.
Yes, factory's another word for hell.
Yeah.
That's in the Bhagavad Gita.
Karma.
Yeah, Ugra Karma, like, materialistic sort of...
What's Ugra? There's like a real heavy... Ugra means like...
Yeah, like
fierce,
Ugra Nishinga.
terrifying.
Like, I think it's like a heavy type thing.
So it's like terrifying karma. It's like a really horrible thing.
Like gross, like,
Bottom end.
But they used to, you know that, because we in the temple now in Bayview, you got that big Radhe Shyam on the wall.
Yeah.
So that was originally for the Cheesecake Factory. Yeah. And it's a similar sort of thing. It's like, you know, I'm just, this is really difficult, but I look up at Krishna. Yeah, one day I'll be with Krishna. Yeah.
What was the song? You know that song? It was on the radio. I think maybe Johnny Cash was singing it, but it goes, "We'll meet again, don't know where, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day."
Yeah.
Like that was singing, and I was thinking of Krishna, like, yeah, one day we will meet again. Like, this is what the philosophy says, isn't it? You keep chanting, keep practicing, keep trying your best, and eventually you'll go back home, back to Godhead. Like, you go back to Krishna and like chill out with him in whatever fashion that you're supposed to chill out with him. You know, like, but it's all party up there, isn't it? Colour and fun and
yeah. And I know when you're just saying like you just got to try your best, and because you're Krishna, the person who executes their duties according to my injunctions and who follows these teachings faithfully without envy becomes free from the bondage of fruitive action. And this is the purport, which I read a few times, but where Prabhupada says that an ordinary man with firm faith in the eternal injunctions of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord, But because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
So this is the type of like quality of honesty. Okay, this is where if you can just be honest and not blame Krishna for anything and carry on, then eventually you will
Yeah.
go to the spiritual world.
Yeah, it's such a liberating thing as well, to be honest. Because before I joined the temple, I think I was talking to you on the phone about it, Gopal. It's like I was doing building site work and like struggling with it, like cement mixing, whatever. And I was always thinking, no, I shouldn't be doing this type of work. I'm better than this. I've got a brain on me. Like I should be doing something clever. Why am I mixing cement? Like there was this big battle going on. But it was like part of me being dishonest with like who I am as a person and like what type of work is probably suited to me. So it's like once I kind of, if I stop those types of thoughts and just embrace what I'm doing with that kind of spirit of devotion, like, okay, I'm where I am today. I'm doing the job that I have to do today. And Krishna has put me here for a reason. Like this is the best place I can be right now. So I just do my job and like fight for the sake of fighting.
Yeah. That's it here as well.
Yeah.
Laba lobo jojo.
Laba labo jayaj. Let's go. Suga duga samakritva laba labo jayajayo. Tato yudhyaya yujasva. Naivam pabam avapsasi. It's 46, is it? Or 246 or something?
246, yeah.
This is a nice subject to have on the podcast because a lot of our listeners are working, jobs in the outside world, but they're also practicing Krishna consciousness. So you're like describing how we can have that devotional mentality while working. Yeah,
I think the crucial is the morning. Like as soon as you wake up, you got to have some kind of spiritual foundation for your day.
Yeah, it sets the tone for the day.
It's big. Like a bit of japa, like mantra meditation. Get yourself some beads. Chant 1 or 2 rounds or 5 rounds or 8 rounds or 16 rounds is what we chant. We chant 16 rounds, I guess 2 hours. Good luck. Here's your beads. But like, you know what I mean? Like have that sadhana and like really try to like hear the mantras and like get a bit prayerful. Like it's powerful.
Changes the whole day. Yeah,
because Prabhupada said that spiritual life is like the same as material life, but it's overcoated with the Krishna consciousness. So like it's like every single day you chant and every time you read, you're overcoating your life with that Krishna consciousness, like a clear coat, and thicker and thicker and thicker until eventually you see everything connected to Krishna and like everything's a lesson. Like,
they say consciousness is like a container wherever you pour in.
Yeah.
Was that a big thing to kind of? I don't know if I was. So you used to think like, I'm on a building site, but I got a brain and not cut out for this type of work. Was that like that was a thing?
Well, I remember from a young age, my mother.
I imagine a lot of people are like that. I don't think that was me. No, I was just happy just to do that. I wanted the easiest, most simple job I could find. Like,
No, it was because my mother was like she's like a teacher, and I think she was like, like back when Tony Blair was saying everyone should go to university, like that kind of period of time. So she was constantly telling me like, oh yeah, you're very clever, you're very intelligent, you should be a very intelligent person, you should be doing really. So I always kind of took that to heart. So then whenever I was doing something that was seemingly, there's like inverted commas less, then I felt bad. But actually the reality of the matter is those kinds of physical jobs pay a lot of money. More than someone who goes to uni.
Now painter and decorator.
Yeah, it's like £200 a day.
In a ton,
Yeah, like...
You go to uni and you come out with debt.
And you can work in Tesco's with your degree.
And I think over 50% of people who go to university end up getting jobs that have nothing to do with their degree anyway.
Yeah. And that's the Vedic society, is you act according to your nature. Like you work according...
You have prescribed duties.
Exactly.
Like you get prescribed type of medicine. Okay, this is for you. Because work is secondary. Yeah. We think work's all in all. My work defines me. I'm a judge, I'm a lawyer, I'm a carpenter. But actually, Bhagavatam says you just work just to maintain your body and to have some like peaceful mind. It just shouldn't become like this all-consuming thing. But Krishna Varnam Tvar Krishnam Sango Pangasta Parasham Yagya Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Sumedasa. Those who are intelligent in this age, so the real intelligent people, they worship Lord Chaitanya by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. It's like
that's your real dharma, isn't it? That's your real duty. Like
well, Krishna Sarva Dharma, abandon all these other types of dharma, and just surrender everything to me. Yeah,
and it's interesting because, like, I guess abandoning work doesn't necessarily mean quit your job and join the temple, but it means abandon your attachment to the results of your work. Like stop trying to enjoy the world through the money that you get from work, and instead do your duty, pay your dues, and then focus on your chanting and your Hare Krishnas and get down the temple. You know, like there's so much opportunity out there if you're looking to do some service. Like T. Krishna, we're building a big temple. There's
there's loads of
so much going on. If you look for it, seek and you shall find, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you just want to sit down and just chanting and reading service as well, just read and chant. And we should dedicate some of our time to spiritual life.
Yeah.
There's generations and generations of people who've done, like Prahlad Maharaj says, chewing the chewed.
Yeah.
So your parents and their parents and their parents and all of their friends have just done the same thing, and it's just got the same result.
Yeah.
And we're just going to do the same thing again. Maybe we should try something else. Maybe this life isn't meant to just, be shepherded along.
And it's so natural, like the Krishna consciousness, it like diffuses. If you actually chant a nice couple of rounds in the morning, it'll diffuse so many other problems in the rest of the day, because like you don't react to it from that false ego, like he's getting in the way of me. It's more like, okay, this is just a situation that's presented. Maybe I could be tolerant. Maybe I could think about the way I'm doing things different. Like you become more detached and conscious of what's happening.
Yeah, the mantra meditation, chanting Hare Krishna, and reading from Vedic literatures, it puts your brain actually does, like, it sorts it all out, rewires it, puts the jigsaw back together, and then things become much more clear.
The reading is key, but I had a question for you, Gopala.
Question for me, is that?
Yeah, you're the guru, and
question for me,
in your little green guru chair.
Oh,
Maharaj. Gopal's in a really nice big green chair.
So jealous of my chair.
Fit for a king.
Listening.
I'm on a squeaky chair. I got the worst chair, Peter.
I'm in like an office chair.
Anyway, Gopala, my question, right? So we hear that reading is meant to be good for you, but every time I go to the books, it's like I can't make any sense of it. There's so many books. Which book do I read? How do I even it's just gobbled. I read a Bhagavad Gita and I disappear after 5 minutes. Like it's too much. Like where do I start? How do I get into my reading? I'm not used to read it. This is a common.
Yeah. Well, it's the same principle with the nectar of instruction. Syat Krishna Nam Chirti Be Vidya Padupta Rochikanu. That the holy name, character, pastimes of Krishna they're all transcendently sweet, like the sweetest thing, sugar candy. Because just like someone who's jaundiced, when they taste sugar, it tastes to them as bitter. But if you keep applying the sugar, then eventually your natural sort of taste buds reawaken, and you can taste the actual flavour of the sugar. So spiritual life's a bit like that. Sometimes you have to, if you wait until you feel like reading and I feel like chanting, if you're waiting for that magic moment to happen, then you might be waiting a very long time. You have to use your intelligence to lean in. Okay, I'm going to start chanting. I'm going to start reading, and then one's heart should get purified, and then you should start to, be determined to achieve an attachment for the holy name and the literature. Like this, and you can. It's an experiment you can do. I remember just sometimes if I'd really struggling, I'll just go close the door and I'll open the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, and I'm just going to keep reading until I feel better. Because it is Chettodarpana Marjanam, it cleans the dust from the heart. You have to, I guess, now and again you get glimpses of the type of sort of spiritual purity and bliss that these activities of connecting to Krishna can have. So that gives you some faith, and then seeing others on the path and it laid out in the scriptures, you understand this is real. Everyone's looking for pleasure. But what's the verse? I've got the Bhagavad Gita in front of me, so it's handy. Famous verse. What's the verse?
Prakati Krivanani.
No, but that's it there. Pram Jishvarnavartate, second chapter, right?
259.
Yeah, 259.
Vishaya Vinavartante.
Vishaya Vinavartante. Nirahasya Dehina. Raso Varjamrasipi Asya Pram Jishvarnavartate. Krishna says, although the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So if you just try and negate the material, it doesn't work because we're looking to be happy.
Yeah.
But if you replace those desires with activities in Krishna consciousness, I'm going to read the purport because I don't mind. Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process, like Astanga Yoga, in the matter of nama, yama, asana, pranayama, pradhyana, dharana, and dhyana, and so on, is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. And you could say, like, yeah, what books do I... remember Shiva Rama, she was recommending some young kid, he said, start reading Chaitanya Charitamrita from, after, as soon as Lord Chaitanya appears. Because they said before that's a bit philosophical. And it was like, and the mother was questioning, you would normally hear you should read Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavatam, and Shiva Rama said, no, just read about Lord Chaitanya. There's some things are easier to read than others.
Which chapter is that then? Like Adi Leela?
It's Adi Leela, yeah, when Birth of Lord Chaitanya, I guess, or something like
chapter
that.
9 or
Appearance.
10. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is really interesting.
CC.
Yeah.
It's such a good book. And
Yeah. So, and it's like Leelamrita, or Krishna, but some
amazing.
things are just really easy to read.
Like the Bhagavat.
Like the Bhagavat.
I got the Transcendental Diary of Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good one.
By Harisuri.
Harisuri,
Yeah.
yeah. There's loads of books like that. The Chasing a Rhino with the Swami and
Yeah.
hearing about Prabhupada is...
And you give yourself some credit. Like, sometimes you're more, and especially like yourself who's been so immersed in Krishna consciousness. Like you were saying, right? You're up in Newcastle and you realise, like, I do appear like brainwashed, or, I'm
like I am radical.
full on in Krishna.
I'm a radicalized Hindu. Like Paul,
We are, like,
Paul's looking at me like, why is this guy always chanting? I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm in Maya, I can't, I'm such a terrible devotee, I never chant.
Yeah.
And Paul's like, stop chanting, you madman. Not really, but like it's like...
So when you say like, I don't know, well, actually it's like, I couldn't imagine, like, I was never a big reader anyway.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine picking up a material book now and reading it. I couldn't think of anything worse. Like, just how it would, like, there's nothing compared to these books. So sometimes you might have a bit of an off day, and that's why it's good to have, like, measured sadhana. Like the Goswamis used to measure it. So, like, you can't, like, we chant a number of times. Like I said, you count how many times you chant. You should, like, whether it's time or pages or something, but have some measured
have a goal.
metric, for your spiritual practices as well. If you just leave it up to the wind, well, I feel like doing it now, then I don't feel like doing it. But that's not what it's about. It's sad. It's sadhana. It's meant to it's practice. Vyasa yogena means repetition. What the famous musician says. I think she's a violinist or a pianist. If I don't practice for 1 day, then I can tell. If I don't practice for 2 days, then everyone else can tell.
Yeah. It's like as a devotee as well, isn't
Yeah,
it? Literally, if you haven't read for like a month and you go to the temple, everyone, this guy's in Maya, like.
It's just not the devotees; it's everyone. Like,
everyone.
Trying to go Sankirtan, people are just like, I'm not going to stop you. Your consciousness doesn't look very good. Like,
everyone could.
They don't know they're thinking that, but they are thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering something for a listener who might be in the position of. We've already mentioned that in the initial stages, sometimes these literatures can be difficult to access. They can be hard. You're describing the example with the bitterness and the sweetness, and I'm just wondering,
you just reminded me of something. Can I speak? It just reminded me of something. I don't know if I'll be able to find it now.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Shall I carry on?
Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
So some listeners might be listening, and they might also be reading different spiritual books, which may be a bit more immediately attractive.
Like a notebook. Is that a note? You read the Notebook, right? Is that a thing?
The Notebook.
The spiritual book.
Secret.
Oh, The Secret. That's it. Yeah.
I never read it, but.
Because there are many like spiritual literatures which are kind of like they say what you want to hear. They're quite attractive initially. So it may seem like people may be attracted to take the position of, well, I'm just going to take this from there, this from that book, and my spiritual life is going to be a merge of these ideas. So I'm just wondering, is that a good idea?
Or to be eclectic, look at different things, and you can't cherry pick. Do you mean like, I'm going to following everything means you're following nothing. Like, So someone might say, "Oh, why are you restricting yourself with one book? Why don't you accept all books?"
Yeah.
Well, you don't accept all books. You don't even follow one book. So don't disguise it as like being like I'm the one with the open mind. I'm the one who's like really knows all these things. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you just, you're more restricted because you're not picking anything.
Right.
Does that make sense? But I mean, like, when you read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, if you're honest, nothing compares to it. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah.
Like some of that is just like you read it and then you just feel buzzing.
Yeah.
Like you
because there's a lot of rasa.
Do you remember like back in it anyway. Like when you hang around with people who take drugs, you're sitting in the same room, and then you get intoxicated just being in the same room as them.
Yeah.
Like it's the same with Chaitanya Charitamrita. You hear about Lord Chaitanya and his associates and how they're blissed out on Krishna consciousness, and you come away from it with like a little bit of that. Like a little...
Yeah. So it was I think Radharani used to explain, just like, you say Lord Chaitanya is more merciful than Krishna. He's saying similarly, like you apply that to reading about Lord Chaitanya. It's like more merciful than reading about Krishna.
And
also, there's
his birthday soon, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, Gopala. But also, there's a lot of like. There's one thing hearing tattva about this relationship, philosophical relationship with Krishna and his expansions, and so there's a science of tattva. But there's also tattva is actually meant to understand rasa, so taste and flavor. Rasa is like the relationships. Tattva is like the philosophical sort of principle. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of like rasa, these exchanges of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees, or how Lord Chaitanya is getting in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Radha Bhava Duti Sulidam, Noma Krishna Swarupam. So it's like Chaitanya Charitamrita is just amazing. Like
I was wondering, is there any like special deals for buying that set of books? Seeing as it's Gaurapanim soon, can people listening who want to buy that book?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, we've got the Beer Gardener campaign running until Gaurapanima at the moment.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to buy a Chaitanya Charitamrita set, we do have a few that we can sell.
Yeah. Limited, though, isn't it?
Limited edition, yeah. Limited edition, I think. I think at the minute they're half price of £60.
It's cheap. That's a steal.
That is a steal, yeah. It's half price.
So they can message Welsh Yogi Podcast, Instagram, or you, or to get.
If you want to buy Chaitanya, yeah. Or come to the temple. We should have it displayed. We're going to have
in
the
the
Chaitanya.
temple,
Yeah, not enough devotees have read the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Oh, it's amazing. Like
I haven't.
You just start I started reading Chaitanya Charitamrita while I was reading the Bhagavatam.
Right.
So did most of the people in Prabhupada stopped, I think, after 5th canto.
Yeah.
And then he did Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that got released. So everyone in the movement, they were reading 5th canto, and then they read Chaitanya Charitamrita before they read 6th, 7th, I used to do like on the way to Sankirtan Bhagavatam, read Srimad Bhagavatam, then do Sankirtan throughout the day, then do Chaitanya Charitamrita on the way back. Or I do one day where I'm doing Bhagavatam all day, next day do Chaitanya Charitamrita. See what I mean? That's the joy of being like brahmachari life, or like being the celibate monk life, is that you're free to express yourself when it comes to just hearing and chanting about Krishna all the time.
That's your wages, hearing and chanting. That's what Devamrita Swami told me, is it?
Yeah.
The brahmachari ashram, that's your wages, as you're hearing and chanting.
Yeah. It's legit. But anyone could do it. You just have to make time for it now.
Yeah.
Early morning.
Yeah, and the thing is, and it's not, and that's the thing. It is more of a thing of taste than time.
True.
I remember when Dunda was saying like he was like, "Oh, I'm really busy. I don't know if I have time to read." And then I can't remember, maybe it was Rannath Swami's Journey Home or some book like that.
Oh yeah.
And he was just reading it. And he just finished it in like a couple of days.
Yeah.
And he realised that if I really wanted to do it, then I'd do it.
Right.
If you think about maybe I have a lazy day where I've just wasted loads of time on my phone. If I probably added up all the times I'm on WhatsApp looking for gifts and messaging back and forth, if I added all that time, I would have probably read the Bhagavatam. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a taste for those things, isn't it? The material.
Yeah, it's called Asat Trishta, or taste for temporary things. But you get Trishta for Krishna.
Trishta.
Thirst for Krishna.
That's something we hear on the street quite a lot, isn't it? I don't have time. I just don't have time to read that. Sorry.
So Prabhupada, that's why he wrote an article, because no time disease for a modern man, because everyone was telling that to Prabhupada, as he was trying to stop them.
Was that in Back to Godhead?
Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah. What's with this sword? You know,
Well,
I can't remember. You have told me. Is it a cross or is it a sword?
It's a tattoo.
It was meant to be a star. Like, you know
Oh,
how
yeah.
sometimes a star is like a cross with like a bigger bit in the middle?
It was maybe a star.
Yeah.
Who did that? Some
Well, I got it from a
blind
student.
man.
It's just a student in Bristol who's just very new to tattooing.
He's very new. By the
Very.
Yeah.
It looks like a
Yeah,
sword.
actually, but-
and you know how
yeah, I thought it was a
tattoos
sword.
It's a scimitar.
you usually get the
Scimitar.
stencil. Is it stencil?
Yeah.
You usually get it on you and then they do it, but he couldn't find the stencil thing, so he's just like, oh, I'm just going to do it freehand. And actually, this is the one that took the longest to
How much did
heal.
it cost?
I think it was
£100.
free or something because he's practicing.
Yeah,
It was free, but
And
it took ages to heal and it scabbed loads because he went really deep. He didn't know how to hold the thing properly.
Like
you know.
Krishna.
Little blowout action.
Yeah.
But it could be a cross. A lot of people think it's a cross.
I thought it was a cross.
Do I cover my arm tattoo, boys?
I reckon you should get some
No, I don't
some
think-
clouds, like the bag of
Did you get
clouds.
like the Bhagavad clouds? Yeah, there's some good tattoos.
I've
in
got
it.
like the bag of clouds. I got the frog from like the Bhagavad that goes out.
Is that the Garanga frog?
The Granga frog is
I was saying
inspired by the light of the
Yeah.
like the brahmacharis. They go out. It's
Like,
like
so Prabhupada said all religions, brahmacharis, Muslims, and you know. Is that what you're gonna say?
what are you going to say?
Well, like the frogs, they would, like when the rain comes,
Yeah,
it's
the frogs come out and start croaking.
yeah.
Just like in the age of darkness, in the age of Kali,
Sorry.
in the age of darkness, the brahmacharis leave the temple to croak about Krishna.
Yeah.
Rabbi
And
Krishna.
Prabhupada said,
Krishna.
even Christians, Muslims, any religion, it's your duty to go out and to tell people about God
Yeah,
in such a godless time.
they're doing a good job as well. In Glasgow, there was a communist stand
Oh yeah.
with a book table, communist tent, and I was like, we need a tent like this. It was just the most beautiful tent with the best book table I've ever seen.
The communists.
The communists.
Uh-huh.
I know they're not Muslims, but it
I
was
didn't
just
say they were. What do you mean about Muslims?
because you said about Muslims going out on the street, but
Oh,
it just
I see.
reminded me of this communist book table.
Uh-huh.
Every book was like wrapped. It wasn't just tied with string. It had like a piece of cardboard around it. It would just look pro.
Uh-huh.
And they were all free. There was like 100 communists around this tent. I was like, oh, this is
I never got communism.
it's a movement.
I know what it is, yeah, but
No, like, I know you know. I'm saying when I saw the tent, this is a movement.
I see.
But like when you see Hare Krishna book table, you might not go. This is you might go.
Well, it should be a decent book table. I took a
Well,
picture.
the one today we had is good.
The one
It's
today-
really
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It had
so-
incense going and it smelled nice.
They
And
should do a
had the
thing,
music.
or even when the girls, when they put a book table, like they really thought, yeah, we'll use this cloth, and like Paddy would put plants in there and stuff, and really like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, and then it was the marathon, and I started seeing what eventually like the book table just degraded. I think what happened every day, they probably just did a little bit less. Till I was out with Ben and Jack, and they put out a book table, and it's literally they just put the metal frame out, didn't even bother putting anything on, and just literally just threw some books on top of it. And he said and I was like, well, what's the point of having a book table? Like the whole point of a book table is it's presenting nicely to attract people over. What's the point in just having a metal thing and just no tablecloth, no like just books just like literally not even presented nicely, just put on there as a little pile.
Fair.
Makes me think. You ever watched Only Fools and Horses?
Yeah.
Like
Why do only fools and horses?
like he comes out with a suitcase and puts it up and opens the suitcase and there's like product inside the suitcase.
Uh-huh.
And maybe that's what you were describing in my mind.
Product.
You know, like he's selling some off the back of a lorry product.
Honestly, fair play to the Muslims. Because in Manchester, like, and whenever I see them, usually with their tables, they're super organised. You know, they come up to the spot and they're just like they set up this really nice looking tent with a gazebo and and I was walking past today. They're really like they're preaching to Westerners coming up, getting a Quran,
Little prayer mat.
and they're preaching to them. They've got a very attractive.
That's the
tent
thing.
set
Was
up.
when people say to us like, "Oh, no, Hare Krishnas. I don't like organised religions." So we are the most unorganised religion there is. Don't worry about it. If you don't like organised religions, then we are the religion for you.
Yeah.
We should be organised. Yeah.
Yeah. How do we get talking about that then?
I don't know. I was
Brahma-
asking what to cover my tattoo with.
Oh,
Frogs,
yeah. Frogs, brahmacharis.
brahmacharis. Yeah.
Yeah, but
people
maybe-
coming out and telling people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got there. So yeah, you could get a nice little
Yeah,
cover up of some clouds and
Nice,
whatnot. Or just leave it.
I think leave it.
You like it, do you?
Yeah.
I like if I was going to have tattoos, I would have loads of anime tattoos. That's what I do.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
You mean like
Yeah.
the Ramayana anime?
Yeah, I mean Ramayana. Yeah. What do you think of it?
That's exactly what I thought. Has anyone seen the Ramayana? Have you seen the Ramayana anime?
No.
Really?
I haven't read it either. I don't really know the story so well.
Oh, you should watch the anime.
The anime is how whenever
Yeah.
I heard the
Steve
story.
Ramos has watched it over 100 times.
Would we do it on a boys' night or something?
Oh, I can't sit for
it's
that
too
again.
long. It's too long.
It's too spiritual. You know?
I'll watch it my own time. I'll stay up tonight.
You should, honestly.
It's
Steve
quite
Ramos-
good because it gives you an overview of the Ramayana. Like
Yeah.
you kind of know the story after you've watched that.
And
There's
Little
like-
Krishna. No.
Little Krishna as well. Yeah, Shiva Ramos loves Little Krishna.
He does, yeah. It was made by Rich Fixer, yeah?
It's alright. That's what he said.
Guru Max likes it. So.
Yeah, he says alright. Little Krishna. Everyone should watch that. It's all on YouTube.
Little Krishna, yeah. And to be fair, Little Krishna, credit to them, like, because the pastimes they're showing,
Legit.
it's a kids program, like, you know, for those who don't know, it's like an animated where Krishna's running around with his friends. But the pastimes are all from Shastra.
Straight from Krishna book.
Yeah, well, even like they're even from some of them are even from more like
Yeah.
esoteric scriptures, like the Goswami's writings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's quite far out, you know.
It's awesome. It's like a chill way if you just want like a little bit of Krishna conscious dead brain time.
Well, that was good because you asked that question earlier on. If I don't want to read and stuff,
Yeah, little
Good
Krishna.
watch.
Watch a cartoon.
yeah. Prabhupada said he watched this one play with, and he was really impressed. And Prabhupada even said, he said, these plays are better than my books. You know, it's just far when you like if you know how much Prabhupada emphasized reading these books, and for him to say that the plays are better, you know. So we got Rath Yatra coming up as well, Peter. By the way, so we can't have a repeat of the travesty that happened last year.
What was
In my defense, I
missed it.
think I gave it my best shot
What
with the
happened
time
last
we
year?
I
had.
guess so, yeah.
You did a Rath Yatra play.
I was really I had a foul move. Basically, Amrita Tattva Prabhu.
So this is
Bought
you got
my
to put this. You got to
costume.
put this on the Welsh Yogi podcast Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you
no.
freaking hell, look at this. You were meant to be a bird, right?
Yeah. I was
Was
really-
this on the stage in Rath Yatra last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it.
The play is called
You're-
Bird in the Cage.
You're lucky you missed it.
It's called Bird in the Cage. Well,
My parents
last
were in the
minute,
front row.
we didn't find a cage, so you used one of these, like, you know what you put, like, and couldn't find a bird mask, so they bought a tiger mask.
I don't even think he looked for a bird mask. I think he just went in and saw a mask and
random
bought
mask.
it.
Is that Amrita?
No, it's Peter.
That's Peter dressed as a
But
tiger.
I try my best to act
quite-
obey
He's
that.
wearing his saffron robes, so it must be like, oh, I'm wearing a saffron, I got this guy. So you just bought a towel over you.
For the wings.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to. Yeah, I'm sure no one. You wear a towel, and he's wearing a towel and a tiger mask, and you're meant to be a bird.
Yeah, so I was
And
squawking
he's stuck.
on
Look at that
stage. I was
cage.
going,
What do you call those cages?
It's from a Tesco
Yeah.
stock replenishment cage.
Like, this is crazy. So it's absolutely mad.
I used to stack the shelves off one of them.
I can't believe we thought that was okay.
Cages.
Like, you know. So
Anyway,
we should do a better play next time. Yeah.
Hey, go
'Cause it's
Don't give him such
Balaram.
a hard time. Like he tried his best.
I'm sorry.
Gotta defend him. It's all right, Peter.
no, it's okay.
You look like a nice
I liked
tiger.
it. I thought it was funny.
But it was fun to
It
take
was better
part.
to do it like that than never do it properly.
Okay, cool.
It makes it really fun. About it.
Okay. What kind of play are we going to have this year? It's Balaram.
Tiger in the cage.
Tiger in the cage. Yeah. Tiger in a Tesco trolley cage. Like.
The tiger in a trolley.
Yeah, yeah. There's a tiger out here. It's going into one of our cages. Have you heard of Krishna?
By the way, Krishna.
All right then. So the girls do really good plays, much better than us. But they just because
Have they
Shamagori.
done one for Rath Yatra?
They did one for Gorpanim 2
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago.
It was really good.
It was like emotional.
Yeah. Ah,
Oh, come on. Don't,
you're a big softie. Like. But because Shamagori is like a proper, like, you know, she's like brilliant at everything she does, but that's her thing. She's a drama student. I think she studied it. So like she was like directing it and made, you know.
Joel's a great actor, by the way.
Yeah, he really gets into
He's
the
good.
role.
Wow, I don't know, is he?
Oh yeah.
The play didn't give it justice, but he does really
Yeah,
get into
yeah, he
acting.
does,
you know.
doesn't he?
A Doctor commented on it as well.
Yeah.
Because the Doctor's a dramatist as well.
Yeah.
In a certain way. And yeah, Joel's got that. I can't be on the stage. It cringes me out.
You
thought
were
I
on the
could.
stage when I
I
first
was
came to Rath
once, and it
Yatra.
was
I mean, we had the
embarrassing.
play we had was filmed by the BBC, and we had Dikyari and Dayalu doing choreographed dancing
Green Frogs.
to Michael Jackson. No, not the Green Frogs.
No?
When
they
they-
were the bad guys.
They did like proper choreographed dancing, like Dikyari. I don't know. You know, it's like you can't imagine Dikyari doing
No.
that, but he did.
Oh, you can.
And he did like a whole. He was even like shaking his body and like moving his arms up. You know what I mean? It was really.
Can I just say something about Day Cherry?
Yeah.
He's like a true artist.
Okay.
Like if you see the way that he moves, the way that he acts, everything about him is extremely artistic. His sister's an artist, and like if you actually
The way he moves and acts is extremely artistic.
He's been living with me for like a year now.
You've seen a deeper side to him.
I've
So
seen
do
the way,
when you're walking around the house and Bhakta-rupa's looking at you with his, his hand holding his chin and like, you know what he's thinking. Getting you.
he's an artist,
Yeah, pour yourself a can of pop,
but
whatever.
he's got that creativity.
Look how beautiful those movements are.
Like he wouldn't be able to think the way he thinks if he wasn't an artist. You know,
What do you mean think the way you think?
he's totally outside the box. Not in a like.
Yeah, totally outside the box.
It sounds like an offense. It sounds like I'm criticising, but I appreciate it. Like, I do appreciate the way Daichari sees the world.
Yeah, no, he's a special guy.
Daichari's doing the same thing as you, right? He's working in a
It's
glass factory.
Glass
right?
factory.
But he's
focusing on his Krishna
is going
consciousness.
like that, isn't it? Side by side.
Yeah, they work together. Krishna consciousness.
What was that?
It was like the
DNA strand.
DNA. Yeah, you're on my way.
No, double helix.
Yeah.
He's double helix.
Oh,
For those who, because you can't see, Peter is doing like some sort of like
double helix.
double helix
signals.
gesture with his hand. Yeah.
But he's saying basically that his spiritual life and material life are ascending in an intertwined manner. So it's like Krishna consciousness and having a material duty go hand in hand.
Yeah, I was thinking that yesterday when I was speaking to him on the phone.
Yeah.
Because what are Krishna's instructions?
Yeah, it's all duty based.
Yeah. It's not don't perform your duty.
No.
I mean, it's not like, so if you think, oh yeah, I'm doing, but going to my work is hindering my spiritual life. Well, that's not true, because Krishna says you should, for your spiritual life, you should go to work.
Yeah.
And so it's
like soup and a sandwich. Goes very well together.
super understandable.
Is there work that can hinder your spiritual life?
Oh yeah, you don't want to be like,
you don't want to be a butcher.
yeah,
Don't want to work in a pub. Yeah, don't want to be a.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, if you're strong enough in your consciousness, you had no other option. You could probably get away with it.
I think so. Yeah,
Right.
because even in Dwarka, the prostitutes are great devotees of Krishna, right?
Yeah.
Like they all greet Krishna when he returns to the city.
I mean, being a butcher would be hard.
I just don't want to be involved in it.
It'd be better just to sit inside the street and die, like, It would, like,
Yeah.
rather than causing that so much horrid suffering to so many other living entities.
Yeah, it is rough, and I don't think you have to do that ever. Like
No.
there is.
I saw a documentary about a
we live
woman
in
who
a
eats
welfare
grass.
state.
Like,
Sorry.
remember that documentary? She would eat grass and mud every day. She said when she was little, she saw some cows eating it, and she thought that looks really tasty. It's true. That's probably finding it online. And she was like eat mud every day, and she had different types of mud and they have different flavors. Why am I talking about this now?
Well, Lord Chaitanya at the
Yeah,
mud.
so you don't need to
Sorry.
work in a slaughterhouse because you can always
Eat mud.
eat mud and grass on the floor. Like,
It's a fact.
Fact.
So if you are, that's the thing. Restaurants, because some jobs you might have to like be involved. Say you're at the checkout in Tesco, you might have to scan some meat as it goes
Yeah.
past.
that's the thing. There's only so much you could do. We're in Kali Yuga. It's just
Yeah.
everything is polluted in Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Everything. The only thing that's pure is chanting the holy name.
Yeah.
Nothing. Everything else is that you're not going to get something that has no
Exactly.
negative karma, but you just have to focus on hearing and chanting and do the best you can.
Yeah. Focus on that. It's true. Like because if you're focusing on everything that's wrong with the world around you,
You wouldn't do anything. It's Kali Yuga. You wouldn't do anything. You wouldn't step outside like
you
that.
could do it forever. Like everything's wrong.
Even just having a mobile phone. Like in your mobile phone, you've got this cobalt and stuff that's mined by these little poor slaves that are like, inhaling all this horrible cobalt dust and then dying of cancer and stuff. You know what I mean? Just because you got to have it. I'm speaking for myself as well. Just because we got to have a smartphone.
Right.
We're causing so much pain and torture to slaves around the world just because.
Thanks for listening to the Welsh Reggae podcast, everyone. We'll catch you next week.
No, I did it again.
No, it's good.
But yeah. Throw away your television.
So we have all these things that cause suffering and pain
I think
in
so.
our
Yeah,
lives.
I
podcast over now.
thought we finished.
Yeah. I just wondered
Go on, no.
what's the positive light of that though? That we have all these things. that have
Because this world, that was the point. You're not going to get away from it.
right.
There is always like every endeavor. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. Every endeavor is covered by some fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Smoke and a fire.
Yeah. So every endeavor is covered by some fault. So you just do the best you can with our to whatever our job is or whatever. But the main thing is focus on hearing and chanting about Krishna and being with the devotees and doing service. I think.
I think that's beautiful.
Okay, thanks.
Simple as that.
Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namani Nama Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavari Pachacharya Satarini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namani Nama Om Namaste Saraswati Devam